net.
Good evening and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ and my call is KD8VYT. For this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2482 with the release date of Friday, May 23rd, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. A report shows that solar storms leave the U.S. unprepared. Another electronic supply business closes its doors. And a reminder that our Young Ham of the Year nomination deadline draws near. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2482 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Dameron, NATMW.
We begin this week with word that a U.S. task force, by its own admission, is ill-prepared to cope with the wide-ranging impact of a solar storm. This news comes on the anniversary of the Gannon storm, the most powerful geomagnetic storm to hit the Earth in 2 decades. Here's Randy Sly, W4XJ.
A U.S. government task force established 11 years ago to handle space weather emergencies has demonstrated that it is incapable of successfully managing such a crisis, according to a recent report task force members released earlier this month. Several critical failures came to light at the conclusion of a 2-day drill conducted in early May to assess U.S. agencies' readiness in such a crisis. The drill staged a simulated crisis of several CMEs hurtling toward Earth, creating widespread power and communications outages, radio blackouts, and radiation hazards for NASA astronauts on a lunar mission. This was the first exercise of its kind for the task force, which is known by the acronym SWARM, which stands for Space Weather Operations Research and Mitigation. Member agencies include the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. According to the report, government agency protocols were shown to be weak and without effective inter-office coordination. Those challenges were called especially critical because warning for the impact of an incoming coronal mass ejection can be as long as a few days or as short as half an hour. The report praised the exercise for identifying these issues and called for, among other things, development of an advanced warning system and sophisticated space weather satellite systems. A link to the report is in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
When you're first starting out in amateur radio, you can't borrow confidence in getting on the air. But now in the UK, you can borrow something that's almost just as helpful. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us about a new program created especially to help hams under the age of 18 who are just starting their radio journeys.
The DMR project, launched recently by the Radio Society of Great Britain, is a way to provide opportunity and radio equipment for young new amateurs to become accustomed to making QSOs on a regular basis. The outreach team's new DMR kit contains DMR handheld at the transceivers and hotspots to borrow for up to 3 months at no cost. Accompanying the equipment, of course, is the opportunity to use it, and the RSGB's team will also be hosting regular scheduled youth nets to give as many participants as possible a good start. Licensed hams or school groups with at least one licensee are eligible to apply for use of the kit. Meanwhile, the Society is encouraging teachers to establish school clubs and to become amateurs themselves. Funding from the Radio Communications Foundation will cover the cost of up to 9 teachers' exams. Additional details are available at rsgb.org.uk. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Pieces of an antenna once atop New York City's Empire State Building have found new homes, and the auction held for them has done a lot of good, as we hear from Jen DeSalvo, W9TXJ.
You might say that this was one high-profile antenna that got some great reception. The remaining 16 elements of the Empire State Building's 32-element Alford antenna attracted lively and profitable bidding at a charity benefit auction in April. According to a report on the Radio World website, a total of $7,549 was raised for the Society of Broadcast Engineers in a scholarship fund. This antenna was installed on the Manhattan skyscraper in 1965. It was decommissioned in 2019. At one time, it served as many as 16 FM broadcast stations. The individual elements weigh about 100 pounds, or 45 kilograms each. But thanks to this successful auction, they will carry even more weight in helping support the careers of future broadcast engineers. I'm Jen Salvo, W9TXJ.
A free online course is teaching students why weather satellites remain an important resource to preserve our quality of life. Cell MB KB3TZB tells us about those lessons.
Even as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is halting support for a number of its weather satellites, the importance of these collectors of data and imagery from space remains key to understanding our changing climate. Students in grades 8 through 12 here in the U.S. are getting an opportunity to learn more about these satellites and their contributions to the study of long-term climate behavior through a free online series offered by the AMSAT Youth Initiative. The coursework is designed to let students progress through the material independently. The first installment is called An Introduction to Satellite Meteorology and will be followed by the next release in June. Future topics include wildlife and natural resources, navigation, climate change, and pollution control. Visit buzzsat.com, that is BUZZSAT.com, to see more details about the course. This is Selembi, KB3TZD.
Another business that was a reliable supplier of electronics for ham radio operators has closed its doors. We have those details from Jack Parker, W8ISH.
Since it was founded in Florida in January of 1972, Marvin P. Jones and Associates gained a loyal following among amateur radio operators, looking for everything from power supplies to electronic switches and other components. The family-owned business closed its doors on the 9th of May and announced on its website that it would no longer be taking phone calls after the 23rd of the month. Its remaining inventory was purchased by another company in Florida, Skycraft Surplus. Positive reviews of the company's customer service and the quality of its products reflect the satisfaction that hams and other purchasers of electronic components received after doing business repeatedly with the company, which is also known as MPJ and Associates. The company's website gave no reason for the closure. A statement simply said, quote, "It has been an honor to have done business with you," end quote. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
Just as the American explorers Meriwether Lewis and William Clark tied the landscape of the early North American West together via their travels in the early 19th century, more than 30 ham radio clubs in 16 states are carving out a trail of communications along that same route. Radio operators are calling CQ from May 31st through to June 15th in the Dakotas, Idaho, Indiana, Kentucky, and other states that were eventually established within the explored territory. The special event, Lewis and Clark Trail on the Air, has expanded since its launch in 2022 with the Clark County Amateur Radio Club in Vancouver, Washington State. Now it encourages chasers to try for contacts of one club in each of the 16 states or one of two bonus stations who are representing the Jefferson Indian Peace Medal. The explorers handed these medals out to the chiefs of tribes they encountered during their expedition. For information about certificates or participating clubs, visit the website lctota.org for details. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WB0YLE repeater on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. through All-Star in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, and Fall River, Massachusetts. Luxembourg's Postal Service is joining the celebration of the IARU's 100th birthday, as we hear from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
100 years ago, Radio Amateur de Luxembourg was amongst the organizations representing radio amateurs from 23 nations at the founding of the International Amateur Radio Union in Paris. Celebrating the centenary and showing pride in Luxembourg's role, the Post Philately of Luxembourg has issued a postage stamp and a matching postal card marking the anniversary. The stamp will be released in the weeks ahead and will be available for purchase at the Radio Amateur du Luxembourg booth at Ham Radio Friedrichshafen in June. Until then, pre-orders can be sent via email to the address that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
A devastating flood in the late 19th century left its mark on western Pennsylvania. Amateur radio operators are on the air as a reminder of this painful history of the Johnstown flood. Here's Travis Lisk, N3ILS, with details.
In a community 60 miles east of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the disaster has come to be known as the Great Flood of 1889. What began on May 31st of that year ultimately claimed more than 2,200 lives in the western part of the state. The deadliest dam burst in U.S. history followed several days of heavy rainfall, as more than 20 million tons of water rushed uncontrollably into the heavily populated valley. Johnstown, in Cambria County, had the misfortune to be just 14 miles downstream from the dam. It had 30,000 residents, many of whom were crushed by the sudden, unexpected rush of floodwaters. This is history that is personal to many in the region, and amateur radio operators are no exception. They will be on the air starting on Saturday the 24th of May through to the 6th of June, operating from the Johnstown, Pennsylvania Flood Museum, calling CQ. They are using the call sign N3N and will be on HF and 2 meters. The special event is taking place in cooperation with the Cambria County, Pennsylvania Emergency Services and Skywarn Storm Spotters of Western Pennsylvania. Emergency responders know well. Tragic flooding revisited the region again in 1936 and 1977, but neither of those floods compared to this one, which is considered the kind of storm that happens once every 1,000 years. This is Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
If you have delayed nominating a candidate for the Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award, don't wait any longer. The deadline for nominations is the 31st of May. If you know a promising young amateur who is 18 years of age or younger here in the continental United States, let us know. If they have talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio, they might just be this year's winner. Find application forms on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. In the world of DX, Dave, G4WXJ, will be on the air as ZC4RH from the British Sovereign Area on Cyprus, IOTA number AS004, from the 14th through to the 20th of June. Dave will be using CWSSB, FT8, and FT4 on 40 through 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Amir, OE1EMS, is using the call sign E77DX from Sal Vicente Island, IOTA number AF086 in Cape Verde. He'll be participating in the CQ Worldwide WPX CW contest on the 24th and the 25th of May. See QRZ.com for QSL details. A team of operators using the call sign VU7T can be heard from Lakshadweep Islands, IOTA number AS011 in the Arabian Sea. They'll remain active through to the 28th of May on the HF bands. They'll be using the QO100 satellite. QSL via M0XUU. JS6RRR, JI3DST/6, JJ5RBH/6, JR8YLY/6 are on the air from the Miyako Islands, IOTA number AS079, until the 18th of June using CWSSB and digital modes on 80 through 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Have you got a second? Well, it only takes a second, actually a few minutes, for our final story, which introduces an important new atomic clock that's been put to work at the official U.S. headquarters of timekeeping in Colorado. Here's Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Keep your eye on the clock, especially if you've been recording your QSOs like the rest of us in Coordinated Universal Time. A new atomic clock at the National Institute of Standards and Technology has been operating since April at NIST's Boulder, Colorado offices. It will soon have a bigger job as part of the group of timekeepers around the world that assist with calibrations of UTC. Known as NIST F4, the clock is still awaiting certification by the International Bureau of Weights and Measures before it can happen. Until then, its unprecedented precision is already hard at work defining the official time here in the United States. Its creators call it a fountain of precision because the cloud of cesium atoms inside the clock oscillate at a rate of more than 9 billion times per second, rising and falling in the same way water does in a fountain. Its resonant frequency is 9,192,631,770 hertz, to be precise. That is the frequency that sets the standard for all other clocks. If you want to see just how NIST F4 works, see the link in a YouTube video in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Watching it will only take 3 minutes and 3 seconds of your time, more or less. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Have you sent in your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website, arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, AMSAT, Dale Scott, W7HLO, David Behar, K7DB, DX News, DX World, Eddie Misyevich, KB3YRU, eham.net, history.com, IARU, Live Science, QRZ.com, MPJ and Associates, NASA, National Institute of Standards and Technology, Popular Science, Post Philately, Radio World, Radio Amateurs du Luxembourg, shortwaveradio.de, Washington Post, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org, and know we appreciate you all. We also remind listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 10 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening, calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Frank. My call is W8ECT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open, directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep our members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with some announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, please. I'll confirm each call before moving on to the next. When I have 5 check-ins, we'll go back and work them 1 at a time, and then repeat the process until the check-in rate drops to the point where we'll start taking them 1 at a time. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and location. When all check-ins have been worked, I will repeat the announcements and then close the net. We also operate an HF plus 6 band exploration net starting at 9:30 p.m. after this net. The approximate frequencies are posted on our website and will be announced on this repeater immediately prior to 9:30. Tonight we'll be on 80 meters at approximately 3.827 megahertz. Again, the exact frequency will depend on band activity in QRM. We'll announce it just before the beginning of that net on this repeater. Please join us if you have the privileges and the equipment. All right, Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club and its members wish to pause and recognize that on this special Memorial Day, we honor the brave service members who made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our nation. This solemn day of remembrance gives us an opportunity to reflect on the profound cost of freedom and the extraordinary courage of those who gave their lives to protect it. Their sacrifice ensures that our principles and values that we hold dear will endure for generations to come. All right, I do have a trivia question. It's kind of off the wall, and it's I will be quite amazed if somebody does get it, but it came up in a conversation with a friend, so I'm going to throw it out there, and then we'll get to the announcements. The trivia question is, what is the first documented example of an electronic communication device that was powered by the sun? All right, announcements, upcoming events. This Wednesday, it's Wednesday with Jack. Starting about 5 p.m., we're going to be getting together to install and operate our new FT710 radio. We'll also be talking about Field Day. We're going to offer basic Field Day training to any of the newer hams that we've recently had join the club. Feel free to come out, please. Come on out and enjoy a chance to learn a little bit about Field Day and how you can participate. We can even get you on the air on our new FT710 radio. Field Day is many things, but also a chance for newly licensed technicians to experience the thrill of long-distance HF contacts while operating under the authority of a control operator. So it'll be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. This coming Wednesday, the 28th at 5 p.m. Then Wednesday, June 11th, we'll have our club meeting at Pilgrim United Church of Christ starting at 7:30. If you cannot attend in present, you'll find a Zoom link on the club website. We'll be holding the final round of officer nominations, and I believe we'll be holding the election there, though you can vote online also. I'll have an update to that during the next net next week. Finally, just to remember, label your calendars. The weekend of June 28th, 29th is Field Day weekend. Field Day, as we traditionally do, will be held at Stowe's Silver Springs Park on Groundhog Hill. We will have a complete rundown on what we're doing there, and probably a good setup by our June meeting, so you'll definitely want to attend. All right, those are all the announcements I have. Do we have any officers or club members with announcements of interest for the entire club? Please come on now.
Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar.
AC8XO, go ahead, Vince.
It's the usual, Frank. Somebody's got to put articles into the newsletter. If the membership's not interested, darn it, well, maybe we should scrap the newsletter. You guys think about that. Anyway, articles due at the end of the month, May 31st, coming here next Saturday. Then start thinking about June. Anyway, Answer to your trivia question. I can't remember the name, but it was used in the God knows what 1400s between towers. It was a solar or sun-powered like telegraph kind of thing, but it wasn't Morse code back then. Anyway, that's it. Alpha Charlie 8 X-ray Oscar, back to net.
Good shot, good try, and that is all. Everything you said was absolutely correct. But let me reread the question again, because we left out one important detail. What is the first documented example of an electronic communication device that was powered by the sun? That was definitely a communication device powered by the sun. That was Mears. But the question was, what was the first documented example of an electronic communication device powered by the sun? And I will give you a hint. It was before 1910. And feel free to come back if you have another answer. Okay, any other announcements of importance by officers or members? Come on now, otherwise we'll start check-ins. All right, nothing heard. This is W8VPV looking for check-ins.
KPU.
KPU, good evening, Larry. Got you in there.
AD8YAX.
All right, Forrest, got your radio going, got you there. We'll come right back to you. Stand by. Next, please.
W3X.
All right, John, got you. Next.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Golf, Delta, Phil.
KF8, Delta Golf Trot, Delta Phil, got you. Next.
Please checking KD8J and that broker enrichment. I'm just being and out.
Okay, J and X, you're in and out. What was your full call? I missed the prefix.
Kilo Delta 8, KD8J and X. Jump in and say hello to Steve. I have to go to bed. Everyone have a good night.
All right, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Looking for one more check-in, then we'll go work what we got.
AF8, DTA, Jeff in New Franklin.
All right, New Franklin Station. I'm sorry, I got distracted by some noise in here. Go ahead with your call again, please.
KF8. Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Tango Alpha, Jeff in New Franklin.
Right, I got you on the log, Jeff. Thanks very much. Let's get back to the top. Larry, go ahead, sir.
Frank, everybody on the net. Hope everybody had a good holiday and hope they remember what it's all about in the process. If those of us old enough for remember World War II and Vietnam, we certainly had folks in it, and you know, we certainly remember what that was all about. Hope we never have to do it again. But anyways, as for the trivia, K8U doesn't have a clue. Okay, Frank, I'll let you get out the net, and I can't do 80, so we'll catch you guys next week here. W8VPV, K8PU.
All right, thanks very much, Larry. Appreciate that. And well, you have a very good rest of the weekend, very meaningful, and thanks for stopping by and checking in then. Next up, KD8YAX. Go ahead, Forrest. You were right there, Forrest. Come on back. Now's your chance. KD8YAX. Go ahead. Must have bumped a dial or something like that. No, very good, Forrest. Feel free to check back in here at any point. We'll take you right away. Next up, John, WO3X.
Gotta get these lights back on because I can't see that well.
I'm sorry I doubled with somebody. Who was that last station?
It's Forrest.
Go ahead, Forrest. Okay, well, we got you loud and clear right now. You're coming through. I hope you're having a very meaningful Memorial Day weekend. Thank you very much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. All right, let's move down the page. John, W03X, give it a shot.
W8VPV, this is W03X, John in Cuyahoga Falls. Thanks for running the net this evening, and I QSL on Larry's comments there. And let's see, regarding the trivia question, I don't have a clue. It's funny, if you put some of that into the Google, it comes up with 1962 and stuff like that. With that, the band exploration net next week will be on 6 meters, so everybody who has a license can participate in that. So this is W03X, back to the net.
All right, very good, John. Stay tuned for the answer. It's, as I say, it's a long shot question. I will be quite amazed if anybody gets it. And if you guys want to yell at me as an unfair question, I'll accept that. But it's actually, it makes sense the way I'm interpreting it, so we'll go and see what happens. Hope to see you Wednesday, John. Next up, Phil, KF8DGD. Go ahead.
Good evening, Frank, everybody on the net. This is Bill in Macedonia. Enjoyed my Memorial Day. Ate a little too much. Trivia question. I don't know. I know the name of the instrument. I think it was called a heliograph or heliograph, if I remember that from hearing that once before. And other than that, nothing going on. That was me, Frank, who caught you on your way home, but you couldn't hear me. That was me on the air. That's all I have, and I'll turn it back to the net. KF8DGD.
Very good, Phil. I did get your call the other night, but now you're coming through the repeater loud and clear. No problem copying at all, but you were really breaking up there, and I don't know if that was you or me. I was going down through the valley. Due to family work schedules, we actually celebrated Memorial Day yesterday, and I had leftovers about an hour ago, some ribs, some burgers, and another couple of ears of corn, so I overdid it again, but very good. All right, Phil, appreciate the check-in, and, have a very, hopefully the rest of your weekend is very meaningful and having a good time. Let's see here. KD8JNX from Whitman was in and out, so we'll go to KF8 DTA, Delta Tango Alpha. Jeff, go ahead, sir.
W8VPV, this is KF8 DTA. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, we just had a nice relaxing day over here. Made some ribs on the smoker and some burgers, had some friends and family over, and just enjoying the weather and each other, and remembering those who we have lost. This is KF8 DTA, sending back to net control.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. Yeah, we're very lucky we're able to sit here and celebrate our holidays in relative safety and convenience. But that was definitely due to the sacrifice of those before us and preserving the freedoms and rights that we have today. And it's always important to remember that. Okay, I'll move on in just a second. Let me reissue the trivia question again. It is somewhat obscure, and I am be quite amazed if somebody gets it, but I'm certainly looking forward to it if they do. What is the first documented example of an electronic communication device that was powered by the sun? That's the trivia question. I'm at the bottom of the page, so looking for more check-ins. We'll take 5 more.
K8HMS.
K8HMS. Got you, Steve. Next.
Kilo 8, Bravo, India.
Oh, Bill, got you in there. Next. I'm sorry, somebody in there went through the repeater. I could hear noise and I could hear a voice in the background, but I couldn't pick it out of the noise. If you can kick the power up or move to a higher location, if it's on an HT, please do so and try to check in again. Give it one more try. Go ahead and check back in if you think you've got a little bit more power, a little bit more elevation. W8VPV, looking for more check-ins.
Kilo Echo 8, Victor Quebec X-Ray, KE8VQX, Joe.
Alright, I got you, Joe. Next.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Alpha Victor Delta, KF8, AVD, Merriman Valley. No traffic, in and out.
Alright, KF8, AVD, in and out. Got you, Tony. Appreciate that. Next.
8 KVI, in and out.
KE8, Killer Vanilla Ice Cream. Got you, Ron. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Next.
This is Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Lima Charlie, Kurt, in and out.
Your suffix again, Kurt.
Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Lima Charlie, ULC.
Thanks, Kurt. Should have done that. Appreciate that. Also in and out. We'll try one more, and then if not, I'll go ahead and work the 3 we got and start taking people one by one. Any more check-ins?
KE8ULA, Leo, in and out.
Another in and out, and I do thank you for at least stopping by then. All right, we'll head back to the top of the list. Steve, K8HMS, how you doing tonight?
Hey, hi, Frank. Hi, everybody. Good to hear you. And on this Memorial Day, thankful for all our veterans, me being one. Thankful for every morning I get up. And thanks for running the net. And not much going on. Just been doing some planting and stuff, and didn't do anything special for Memorial Day. Just me and the wife doing some yard work. So that's about it. Actually made it to the parade this morning down in the falls, and it was really, really nice. Hadn't been to a parade for a long time, so we'll break for time. Anyway, yeah, it was really, really nice to see, all the people and different stuff in the parade. So, and I guess other than that, that's about it. And yeah, I guess you're going to be heading out west here in a month or so. I know you can't hit field day, but yeah, I'm kind of jealous because a lot of places you're going to go, I wish I could have gone the last few times I went out there. Anyway, back to you, W8VPV, K8HMS.
All right, Steve, thanks for checking in, and thanks for your service, and to everybody out there tonight, club member or not, if you hear this and you're in the military or were in the military, thank you very much for your service. That is just an amazing thing. Actually, Steve, I'll be headed out there next week. I will be back for field day. I will be able to participate in field day. It's just I'm going to be gone and not able to do much of the planning after this weekend. But yeah, I'm going to see. I have 2 sisters that have hardly ever been out west, at least in the summer, And we're going to see the Southwest, including the Grand Canyon, hopefully Meteor Crater, Bryce Canyon, Zion National Park, and pass through Vegas once or twice. So appreciate it, Dan. Okay, next up, Bill, K8BI. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. Good to hear everybody out there. And also thanks here to all of our veterans that have kept us safe over the years. And finally got to cut grass today. I just got in a little bit ago. It was getting kind of long after all that nonstop rain we had for so long. And, Frank, on your trivia question, I don't know if this is the right answer. When I talk communication systems, what we talked about when we covered light wave communication was Alexander Graham Bell invented something in 1880 called the photophone. The transmitter was a vibrating mirror that reflected sun, and it was picked up by a stack of selenium wafers in what looked kind of like a headlight bucket at the other end. So it was kind of electromechanical, not exactly electronic, but that's the earliest example I know of. But anyways, there's my shot at the trivia. And that's about all the news that fits print here. So good evening, everybody, from K8BI.
All right. Thank you very much, Bill. That's an example I was not aware of. It's getting close to the date of the situation I'm asking for here, but it's a little bit later in time. But that's very interesting. I'll reread the trivia question again. What is the first documented example of an electronic communication device that was powered by the sun? And it is a deceptive question, but it is there is an answer that is factually correct for that question. So if something comes to mind, anybody wants to give it another shot, by all means do so. Let's see here. Next up, KE8VQX. Joe, go ahead, sir.
W8VPV, this is KE8VQX. Hi, Frank. I was the guy that you couldn't hear earlier. I was on an HT in the backyard, not sure what's going on. I used to be able to get into the repeater okay with an HT over here, but maybe the trees or something. Anyway, been working all weekend, just got home, flying people from point A to point B. Somebody saved me a hamburger, though, so that's good. Nothing else really to report. Just hope everyone had a very meaningful weekend, and have a nice rest of the week. So that this is KE8VQX. Give it back to W8VPV.
All right, thanks very much, Joe. And yeah, don't get me started on grass. I've got a relatively low yard, and based on the condition of the yard, this has got to have been the wettest spring that I've seen in 40 years. I can't tell you how many times I had to drag my lawnmower out of the mud. It sank in almost down to the deck. And I'm chewing up the yard, but my front yard was getting so long that I'm sure the neighbors were ready to call the city over it. So I finally got that cut, at least the front yard today, and I'm not going to get any more done, I'm afraid, because we're supposed to have another 3 or 4 days of rain. So it's going to be a swamp again, but very good. And also, for anybody out there, watch out for ticks. I had 2 of them climbing on me when I got in today, and needless to say, they don't exist anymore. But there are a lot of ticks out there, and they do carry that Lyme disease, which is a long-term nasty disease. All right, I'm at the bottom of the page, so we're looking for check-ins. We'll start taking you one at a time now. Go ahead. All right, we'll try once more here. We throw the question out. We'll ask for check-ins once more. If not, we'll wrap the meeting up, or the net up, and answer the question and remind you of the 80-meter net. The question, and it is a little bit misleading, I will admit, but it is technically correct. What is the first documented example of an electronic communication device that was powered by the sun? Do we have any other check-ins at this point?
Alpha Delta 8 Papa Foxtrot, Greg, in and out, and hoping the cop doesn't see me on the radio.
All right, got you in there, in and out, Greg. And just hang on 1 second here. This is W8VPV. One more try. Do we have any last check-ins? All right, nothing heard. Let me go through the announcements real quick once, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Coming up this Wednesday, May 28th, it's Wednesday in the Shack. Starting at 1 p.m. Primarily, we'll be working on our plans for Field Day. If you are planning on operating at Field Day, if you want to participate in Field Day, if you'd like to come out and learn what Field Day is, we'll be planning it out and shelters and all of that detail, and also offer basic Field Day training. So if you're just got licensed, whether it's a technician or you just upgraded in general, and you'd like a chance to operate the thrill of operating HF contacts long distance, this is the place to do it. You'll see lots of nice radios and lots of nice antennas, and it's always a great learning experience. All right, after that, Wednesday, June 11th, we'll have a club meeting at the United Church of Christ, downtown Cuyahoga Falls, 7:30. Pause for time. If you can't attend in person, you can find a Zoom link on our club website. We'll be also holding the final round of officer nominations and I believe officer elections, though you can also vote online. And I believe the trustees are working that out. I've not had a chance to talk with any of them, so we'll be checking on that. June 28th, 29th is, of course, Field Day weekend. Mark your calendar. It's coming up in just about a month now. So we'll be holding it at Stowe's Silver Springs Park on Groundhog Hill, as we have in the past, and we're looking forward to a fun and educational event. Hope you can all make it. All right, do we have any last check-ins? The question, trivia question. If you want to throw rotten fruit at me for this one, okay, I'll accept that. What is the first documented example of an electronic communication device that was powered by the sun? And the answer is the device itself is a telegraph. The powering by the sun comes from the fact that in September 1859, we had a massive solar flare slam into the planet, and among other things, it started disrupting telegraph stations. Operators were getting electrical shocks. There were reports of telegraph buildings being set on fire as the lines arced over, and some telegraph operators, and this is the answer, reported that the system worked better when they disconnected the batteries and they just used the energy that seemed to be in the air. So thus, I guess that telegraph is the first electronic device that was solar powered or powered by the sun, even if only for a couple hours during the Carrington event. If you haven't heard of the Carrington event, I encourage you to look it up. We kind of dodged a bullet about a week and a half ago, and our sun is perfectly capable of delivering another one of those to us, and with today's technology, the results would be quite a bit more devastating than they were back then. All right, that's it. Any last thoughts or comments? Otherwise, we'll wrap this net up. Right then, in preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank, W8EZT, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. We'll now close the net with 16 check-ins, myself included, and return the repeaters to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is just a reminder, we will be holding an 80-meter band exploration net tonight at approximately 3.827 megahertz, depending on where we can find an open spot on the band. That will be announced on this repeater just before 9:30. In the meantime, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing our VHF UHF net at 9 o'clock p.m. exactly local time. 73, and thanks, everyone.
So we just tell them to be patient, and all things will work out.
So basically that they're like they're beginning to move, learning things, or getting comfortable. We got good like the field day playing out, the things like that they can enjoy. So anyway, talk to you sometime soon. 84 CMK, 73, that was what BRU.
73 BRU, WB4 Wyman.
Yeah, 84 Wyman.
And a really interesting announcement. I'm going to look up that antenna that Larry has and see what it looks like. You guys have a great week. Again, say happy birthday to the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, because this is their 250th anniversary.
Squared away. Hey, 73, Adam. KE9, DIF.
I'd be doubled with you. I didn't hear most of that. You're doing fantastic. Nothing wrong with that. It sounds like, just keep the maintenance up on the antenna and continue to use it as is. There you go. Well, the house rotates. Every 24 hours the house rotates.
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen, I gotta go. Have a good evening. 73 is out of here.
73.
Take care, Adam. Good talking to you. WB9NIR, clear.
Yeah.
that's right, Walter.
Yeah, 'cause we could do it.
Uh-huh. So this morning I came into the shop and the sound system sounds awesome, but I want to make it even bigger. But I played Black Sabbath Volume 4 all the way through, which I hadn't really played all the way through, and then I played Sabotage all the way through.
All right.
At high volume. Now I want to get some more. I want to get speakers so we have quad. You know, I want them in all four corners.
Is the availability of 147 feet. It just means he's got to go
after that, which ain't bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Walter.
Yes, sir.
Want you play on 160? It's quiet down there.
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, do you? I mean, we'll come back up.
Yeah. Is there somebody there?
No. You know, just for the general practice of the operation.
Alright, and 4ROM can fly.
Alright, KC-TMW. I'm down to 1875.
Required withdrawals anymore?
Next year, when I turn 73, I have to take out about $10,000 a year. I have to.
I wonder if they'll let you plow that back into a raw.
You have to pay taxes on it.
Oh yeah, that's a given.
You know, I get so much money on Social Security, I don't have to touch any of my other money.
Oh yeah, that's another reason I'm going to January 2027. I want to retire at 70.
Well, hell, you'll be able to work full-time someplace and they won't touch your Social Security.
Say again?
You'll be able to work full-time if you want and they won't even touch your Social Security.
Yeah, I know. But I think 70 is a good age. I mean, retiring at 65 and living
W8VPV. Repeater. Port link off. W8VPV. Repeater.
This is W8ACT. On behalf of W8VPV, we'll be holding the band exploration net tonight at 9:30. Looks like the band is pretty open, so we'll be right at 3.827 megahertz on 80 meters. It'll be starting in about 4 minutes. W8VPV.
This is W8VPV. We'll be starting the club net here in about 3 minutes, 3.827 megahertz. W8VPV, net to start soon.
W8VPV. Band expiration net starting in about 2 minutes. Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night HF band expiration net. My name is Frank. My call is W8VPV, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call, Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep our members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by our VHF UHF net at 8:30, which in turn is preceded by amateur radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with some announcements. We'll ask for some check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll take check-ins. We'll work one at a time tonight. I don't expect a lot of check-ins. Moving on to the next, and then wrap it up. We'll repeat the announcements, ask if there are any final check-ins, and then shut the net down when we're done there. I would like to take a moment and say that the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, sponsor of this net, and its members wish to pause and recognize that on this special Memorial Day, we honor the brave service members who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation. This solemn day is This solemn day of remembrance gives us an opportunity to reflect on the profound cost of freedom and the extraordinary courage of those who gave their lives to protect it. Their sacrifice ensures that our principles and values that we hold dear will endure for generations to come. All right, some real quick announcements coming up this Wednesday. It's Wednesday in the Shack, 5 o'clock. We'll install and operate our new radio, but mainly we're going to be talking about field day. We're going to be planning it out. We're going to offer basic field day training. Anybody who's interested, all members are invited to attend. This is the clubhouse on Bailey Road. Field day is many things, but among others, it's a chance for new hams, new technicians to experience the thrill of long-distance HF contacts while operating under the authority of a control operator. Wednesday, June 11th, club meeting at Pilgrim United Church.
you're half the net tonight then, John. All right, well, that's all I've got then. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Didn't expect much more with the holiday and everything, and a couple of our members don't have 80-meter capability. So let's see here. We'll get to the wrap-it-up script. In preparing to close the net, I want to thank each and every one of you, that would be you, John, who took the time tonight to check in. Without your participation, there would be no net. It has been Frank, W8VPV, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. We'll now close the net with 2 check-ins, myself included, and return the frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:36 p.m. local time, 73. All right, John, thanks very much. Hope you had a very good weekend, and now we'll see what we get done tomorrow. W8VPV, we're clear.
Okay, Frank, yeah, that'll be Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll see you Wednesday then at the clubhouse. Very good. W8VT clear.
W03X clear. Thanks, Frank.
Is with this Medicaid, in other words, where to get all that free money, wanting to limit it on what they can spend that daggone money on. I think, they need to. In other words, as far as, the different food, as far as spending on junk food and, non-essential items. I mean, they've got it a little bit, but I think they need to purge that a little bit, in other words, because, there's a lot of people out here that needs help that don't get help, but it seems like the ones that don't really need the help is the easiest one that gets all the freebies,
Well, I think it was yesterday when they had found $26 billion in Medicaid in the circa case. In other words, somebody that was struggling money circulated $26 billion. That 1,000 million is a damn billion. $26 billion in Medicaid was being circulated. So in other words, half of that was being, $26 billion was being stolen, and we went after that. And I just,